Danchi Days is a game having us take control of Hoshino Kanaoka, who seeks to revive the local summer festival of her Danchi, which is a Japanese word basically meaning a group of apartments, sort of like a housing complex thing. If the kappa following me around was any indication, this game does have a focus towards Japanese culture, and takes place within it. I won't lie, even as the loser monster that prefers the cold, I have a sort of appreciation for summer, and media that seeks to capture that pleasant summer vibe. I think it's something more important to that of Japanese culture, if that makes sense. I don't know. I feel like it's more valuable than how summer is treated where I grew up, which was, got some free time to, well, funnily enough, interact with Japanese media about the Japan summer. Something about a kid on summer vacation and how they spend that time I find to be pretty, nostalgic as a sort of plot for a game. How you choose to spend those days of freedom. Danchi Days is being made by Sandy Powder, Magumu, and Melos Hantani. Viewers of my channel for the past, 2 months would recognize Melos Hantani, being one half of Analgesic Productions, which is also the producer for this game. I think this game really does capture that GBA sort of aesthetic well. I love the side art that this game takes place in, and it does set the mood, alongside the sort of picnic basket flannel text box. The game begins with Hoshino and her dad eating breakfast, with Hoshino's plan to start handing out flyers to the summer festival being explained. It's here we start learning most of this game's basic mechanics, which I think is pretty interesting. For example, the looking system, where if you want to look at something far away or out of reach, you can just hold down the button and release it. And that's such a cool idea, and it'll probably allow for so much more interesting designs for rooms and allowing the player to look far distances away to areas they otherwise couldn't reach. It's funny to think about, but I feel like this control scheme could have been used for some sort of weapon in an action game, like shooting distance for a bow and arrow. Maybe that's just my violent gamer brain, but I think this is a really neat idea, and I like that my brain has led me to this sort of recontextualization. I think it's really fitting for this game's vibe of wanting to be more laid back and comfy. I'd say non-violent, but you do kill a wasp, which, dang, I love wasps. I know, lonely hill to die on, but wasps are cool. Overhated sharks of the insect world, or something. Where's my wasp lovers at? Wasps are the punks of animals. Yeah, I mess with that. Wasps kinda rule. Y'all sent me a game about killing a wasp? Sorry. However, I do enjoy the sorta not violent, not action focused games. This is very much so a game of walking around, talking, and exploring some websites. It's kind of interesting how much I feel like it does capture that vibe of having so much free time in the summer to just browse around on sites, take walks outside, and meet people. No worry in the world. I've seen so-called cozy games get a lot of flack, likely from those who would rather play their infinite hour dopamine generators, as we live in a casino world for video games now. I may or may not be contributing to that. But I like chill games where I just get to vibe with the world. Like, avid spacey soundy watchers have seen at least one of my videos where I just cut to gameplay of me playing Hot Shots Golf 2. And if you haven't, well, you have now. And I think this game's soundscape captures that. I really like the house theme and some of the outside areas with a greater focus of ambience. The main goal of this game is to meet and essentially convince residents of our complex to attend the local summer festival, finding out about these people from visiting their blogs and searching up words that we discover by sensing throughout the world. We can sense by holding down a button, which, if there is anything to sense in the area, leads to a minigame we play, unique to that specific sense we're interacting with, all sharing the rules that we play as an icon of Hoshino where we lose focus by moving, run out, and you'll have to try again, which makes it pretty cool to try and discover what to do with the moves you have. I thought this one with the old man sweeping was great, where you need to knock down the leaves from trees so you can move over and sweep them up, where we collect the music notes produced by the action, the sound of the sweeping. I completed the minigame first try, but just barely, and I thought that was really cool. I imagine that's the sort of loop that we get into. Explore around, sense, find new words, and see how we can get these different people to learn and show up to the festival. This can involve using items we receive from one minigame, storing them, and then using them at a later area, or reading about these people to see what may cause them to appear, which I feel gives this game a sort of theme of connectedness. We have a page of all the characters that we've invited, and it's through these characters that we can learn about other characters, giving that idea of even if we aren't all connected as friends, we still are through the places we share, which is kind of the idea of a community. And I do hope that despite the idea, this game still has a pretty open approach to the people that you can meet in the order that you go into. Because I think that really captures that summer vibe of being a kid and feeling like you can go anywhere and do anything. That the world is big and open. Okay, I'm not sure if I can say much more about this game. I like Moro Q, they're cool. Kappas rule. Yeah, okay, it's rug pull time. I only got to play a short gameplay demo of this game. It took like 20 minutes. Yeah, this was a demo. The actual game will be coming out in 2026, but hey, Mello Santani hit me up. I think they're cool, and I think the games that they're involved with is cool, so why not give it a quick check? I'm curious to see what they're up to. It's definitely pretty early. I mean, I don't know if the game's gonna keep some of the Anodyne 2 music it uses. I'd assume not, but you know, music's still good. But I enjoyed it enough. I think it's nice to have more games like these, especially nowadays with the modern direction games are taking. Even games that seek to be like different and indie, there's still some aspects of modern game design that has congealed into it, like so many things that we all use and we just don't think of, you know? But this one does feel very retro, like something I'd boot up on the PS1. Just this game about a Japanese girl meeting quirky characters to invite for a festival. No save the world, no intense combat, no loop progression system, just some game developers doing their own thing, which I find to be valuable. How much is it for me? I'm not entirely sure. I could personally do without all the sound effects used in the dialogue, like, I feel it's just a sign saying, wow, exciting. I don't know, I thought it was kind of strange, but I kind of get why it's there. And I suppose the general quirkiness of these games have never been my sort of thing. This game does make me think of the dialogue in Anodyne with the characters. Like the absurdity of the character who likes digging holes and filling them with puddles. Or the punctuation literary character named Barnes and Nobles. Just doesn't do anything for me. Maybe I'm just a stick in the mud. But I can appreciate what it does for this game's wider vibe. And as silly as it gets worded, I do kind of like the aspect of the game about essentially meditating on simple objects and ideas and finding greater meaning on them, and where we place ourselves in the greater universe as a whole. That is very much something I can relate to. But yeah, I just wanted to give this game a quickie look. I don't usually like talking about games that aren't finished. This may very well be the only time I ever do this. I prefer full meals over taste tests. But hey, I thought it'd be cool to see what this game is about, and yeah, I think this game is pretty cool. Ain't nothing wrong with a short vid every now and again. So, whenever this game is gonna be available, if it looks like your vibe, check it out. Just from this very short demo, I could tell that it's gonna pull off a lot of unique and cool ideas with a simple premise, and that's a vibe I can mess with. But as for me, I'm gonna head out. See ya. Hey, shoutouts to Ken Chiago and everyone else who's been supporting me. I don't really know how many ways I could word it, but you know, thanks. I do appreciate it, and it does encourage me to keep making videos. If there wasn't any of y'all, I'm not even sure if I would still be doing this. Which isn't as much for the money aspect as it is just knowing that people care and want to watch my videos. Because even though I don't get a ton of views, I still get consistent views, you know? Y'all still show up and pull up, right? And, you know, I appreciate that. It's not going to get me anywhere in life, but it's nice to know that y'all come here to hear me talk about some cool games and even play them. That's kind of the point of this channel as a whole.